on the other matter, of course, on COVID. Today, Australia has hit some important goals. 16 million vaccines now distributed, administered right across the country, over 16 million. That's 215 every minute is now being distributed. 309,000 in just one day. 215 each and every minute. These are extraordinary marks that the National Vaccination Program is now achieving. 1 in 2 eligible Australians have now had their first dose. 1 in 2. There are more people who are eligible who've had their vaccine than have not had their vaccine in Australia today. That is a major turning point. That is a major beachhead that has been gained in the National Vaccination Program to see this realised. Just going through some of the state figures that relate to that, I want to note that the ACT is leading the country overall and is ahead of the national average on the first doses with 56.4% of the population with 1 dose and 2% with 2 doses. Tassie, while leading on the 2-dose score, is also doing very well with 54% with 1 vaccination. The Northern Territory is going strong with almost 1 in every 2 Territorians with 1 dose. Victoria is right on the cusp of having more Victorians vaccinated than not, 49.3% in Victoria. In South Australia, more than 17,000 were vaccinated yesterday, closing on that 50% mark. Queensland and Western Australia still have some ground to make up on the national average, and we want to continue to encourage them through their national vaccination program and the efforts that are being undertaken. In New South Wales, the daily rates in New South Wales, which I want to stress are predominantly being done through the GPs and the pharmacies, almost at a rate, Greg, of 2 to 1. That's where the doses are being administered. The state vaccine hubs, they're doing a great job. But the lion's share of what's being done in New South Wales is actually being done through the GPs and pharmacies, and that's very important. And overall in New South Wales, 2 in every 5 jabs yesterday were delivered in New South Wales, and that's more than 132,000. And we are seeing those queues of young people, those vaccines, the Pfizer vaccines, we're able to get from Poland. They're there now, and they're rolling out across those state hubs. There's 117,000 arriving at Kudos Bank Arena, 98,000 at the Southwestern Sydney Vaccination Centre, 54,000 at Sydney Olympic Park, 28,000 to RPA, and hundreds of thousands more in coming days. And so we've seen those scenes today of younger people turning up for those, and that's very welcome news, and we thank people for responding to that call, and I'll be able to reassure the Polish Prime Minister that assistance is being taken up very, very readily. And so thank you to everybody who's been doing that. I also want to note the National Security Committee is meeting every day and dealing with both of these issues, as we have for some time now. We agreed today, and the Cabinet also met today to affirm that we will be moving to opening up 16 to 39-year-olds for the balance of the program. We intend for that to commence on the 30th of August. Now, I want to stress, do not make a booking yet. We will advise when bookings can be made. It's not today, not today. We will advise of when that time will come over the course of the next week. But just advising you, it has been a question that has been put to me for some time, is when we would bring that 16 to 39s forward. Well, the question is usually about 20 to 39s. But we've decided to go all the way through for 16 to 39s. That's some 8.6 million Australians that are in that group. 1.2 million between the ages of 16 and 18, I understand, and between 19 and 39, there's about 7.4 million, sorry, for that next group, up to the 20s. So 8.6 million extra getting access to the program at the end of August. With that, there's one other point I wanted to stress, and Greg will probably want to talk a bit more about this. We're taking very seriously the issue of immunisation on these issues, vaccination of our children. I'm anticipating that ATAGI advice, certainly in an interim level, to be available very soon. And then we've been already working through General Fruin and his team in the States to see how we would implement a vaccination program for children, that is those aged 12 to 15. and we will have further things to say about that once we've received that, at least that interim ATAGI advice. Then they'll give us their full advice, and we'll be taking further steps there. But I just want to assure particularly parents, vaccinating children is something we take really seriously, and we do it very carefully. And so we're just making sure that we're getting the right advice, and then we can put the right plans in place and move on those vaccinations in the safest and the most effective way possible. But with that, I'll hand you over to the Minister for Foreign Affairs.